everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. And our guest today will be George Stevens Academy, and our speaker will be Mr. Bob Slayton, the Boarding Admissions Director. And I'm Jones, Marketing Specialist from Net24.
Thank you so much. This is such a pleasure to be here. Jones, thank you for organizing this event, and also your team at Net24. I really appreciate all that you've done to make this happen. Before I tell the story of the school, I want to introduce myself. I'm Bob Slayton, the Boarding Admissions Director, and with me is our head of school, which I will arrange our camera here, Tim Seeley. For me, I grew up outside New York City, and I used to come to Maine, where I am now, as a family, because Maine is a beautiful location. It's a place people come to particularly for its beauty, but also because it has a certain culture and kindness about it. I ended up going to college in Maine, and after college, I traveled and lived overseas for a while, including India and Nepal. I noticed there was some people from Nepal and Sri Lanka, and worked in Sri Lanka for a little while, and also traveled in Tunisia and lived and studied a little bit in France and England. So those experiences led to me being really the global perspective and desire, a lifelong desire, really to be connected, and that is really why I chose to live in Maine and raise a family in Maine, because it has this kind, beautiful quality, and it is this place which is connected to the world. And that's why I love it here in Blue Hill, why I love this town academy, and why I'm really excited to be sharing with you what we offer for students who can come here and join us in this community.
And this is my favorite school by far, because I think it has the best combination of real personal care for students and looking out for them, and then challenging them to meet their goals. So I have loved it here.
So here we are, George Stevens Academy, where we have been educating students in this community and from places far away since 1863. And we do feel like we offer this education that provides them the ability to explore their passion, develop their interests, and to move out into the world to be successful in whatever path and choices that they want to make. And before I kind of go further with the school, I want to say like where we are in the United States and what our community is like. So we are in Blue Hill, Maine. For those of you who may not know, the state of Maine is in the further northeast corner of the United States. It's part of the New England culture, which includes Connecticut and Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont. And Blue Hill is on the coast of the Atlantic, and it's a little bit. It's north of Boston. Maine is one of the safest states in the United States. It tends to be a rural community with New England values, with hardworking people who value community and also value education. New England has a long tradition of emphasizing education, and there's a very dense number of colleges and universities in our broad region. So Blue Hill, Maine is what we consider to be a really special place, and it is really part of what this school is. So you really can't separate, as you'll hear more as I talk further, the community of Blue Hill and who we are as a school. So I'll share with you a few pictures of where we are located along the Atlantic coast. This connection to the ocean is a big part of who we are, again, as a school and as a community, historically, and continues today in terms of the work and the connections to the water and the sea life that is there. And a picture of Blue Hill. The town of Blue Hill is at the foot of the mountain of Blue Hill, and I am speaking to you, well, right in the heart of the village. As you can see, Mount one of the steeples. The town academy, George Stevens, is part of Blue Hill. It's in the town, and that is one of the special things and characteristics of the school, that when you come here to George Stevens Academy, you become part of the community. We are part of it, and the resources of the school and the resources of the town make this a bigger place than we are as a school. It really makes it part of a much larger group and a much larger organization. So continuing on, the sense of beauty and the sense of surrounding that is natural and opportunities for being outdoors and enjoying the natural world, as I mentioned that I did when I was younger, is a big reason that people come here to this area. And so that is the setting from sunset to sunrise. But of course, when we come to Boo Hill, we come and we welcome folks and welcome students to our community, including here a lobster bake in the back of our dorm. So what we offer to students who come from overseas, it's a very welcoming place. It's a place that we feel that students who come here come and are immediately feeling this sense of kindness and sense of welcoming and sense of connectedness. So now I'm going to tell a bit about George Stevens Academy, what it offers to students and the curriculum. I will also share information about the boarding program, and I'll share more about the admissions process and how we work with agents and agencies to recruit and invite students to come join us. So this is a comment written by the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, a report that I feel sums up what we are and what we try to accomplish. George Stevens Academy has accomplished what many schools dream of: authentic community that unites all members sincerely in a single purpose: student success. So this is something I may come back to, and I'm happy to talk more about it. I think this touches upon the recipe that we have as a school, a recipe that combines this sense of authentic connectedness and desire to welcome each other into a community that values education and that sees education as something that is something that somebody can bring, that we bring to students for their own. Some details about the academy. So we are 290 students, 293 students, 15 international students and US boarding students. GSA faculty, that is 36 numbered, with 21 women, 15 men, 50% holding advanced degrees, small student to teacher ratio of 10:1. Class sizes are small, ranging 10 to 20 students. Part of the recipe that we feel successful, which Mr. Seeley alluded to, is we're at a sweet spot of a size that's large enough to provide the programming that is rich and robust, small enough to provide an intimate setting for the teachers to get to know the students and cater their curriculum and cater their teaching to the particular students who are before them in the classroom.
That's nice. One
theme that I want to share, and we can talk more about, is that we have this feeling and we have this belief that academic achievement happens when children, when students, when any of us feel safe and feel cared for. And so when the passion and the creativity of our faculty, the belief that it's through those connections that children and though any of us can change ourselves by connection, that every student is seen for who they are, and the curriculum that is presented to them is specific, is flexible, and accommodates exactly what their passions are, and that the curriculum isn't just one thing for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but in fact, the curriculum, as I will present to you in a little while, the curriculum offers a lot of opportunity for individual growth and individual expression. And so we feel that care leads to students who are able to develop their passion, able to develop their interests, and able to explore their strengths and achieve whatever their goals are, whether it be very selective colleges and universities or whatever path they choose to take, which I will talk more about as well. So now the curriculum. So with the care, the connection, the flexibility, the curriculum that we offer is a full curriculum with English, science, math, visual and performing arts, social studies, world languages, health, physical education, and computer technology. And included in that are other opportunities for independent learning, for collaborative learning in each of those areas of study. And those other options include culinary arts, ocean studies, outdoor leadership, an array of AP classes, as well as alternative classes.
Thank you so much. So about your curriculum goals, I also know that there are some, this part, like the curriculum activities. When I search for you online, really, literally everything I saw is like volleyball teams, how active the students are. And there are also like music activities as I see here. That's why I got so impressed by your institution, like how energetic it is.
I agree with you. It's one of the things I really like about this is our students are really involved in lots of things, and they're doing lots of different things. So it's very common for someone to be, in the jazz band and also play on a sports team and be involved in all sorts of things. I think that in some degree is a function of our size. Again, I've worked at schools that were 1,200 kids, and I've worked at high schools that were 150 students, and I think kind of 250 to 350 students is a very good size, because we can have lots of different things, but students can participate in everything. There's not so many students that you have to be an expert to be able to do any activities.
And that's part of this culture that I described earlier, the New England culture, the Maine culture, especially the Maine culture, where people are very active and people are very social and connected to each other. And again, those connections you can just feel it. Those who are lucky enough to come here, including myself, when you come, you want to stay and you feel at home forever. And I do want to add, it's an interesting while I'm thinking of it, like what it's like to be here. I never lock my car. I never lock my house. There's a certain quality of this community, which permeates our life, and it also permeates the school and permeates in the class.
Wow.
Curriculum that I just talked about, and I'll continue to go further with, where our students can take what they learn and how this prepares them for their next steps. So for many and most who come to George Stevens Academy, they are prepared academically for whatever they want to do next. And they have gone on to select colleges, to specialized colleges and universities, some of which are listed in this slide here today. And as I mentioned, there's other aspects of the program which we feel very strongly about. One of which is our visual and performing arts, which Jones, you alluded to. You saw a lot of musically oriented people and creative people in this community. A lot of people who live in Blue Hill have a creative perspective on their life and create a life, whether it's their work or their personal life, which is involved with the arts. And we take a lot of advantage of that. And our visual and performing arts program with painting and drawing and photography, music, production, and dance is very rich and very active, very popular. And one of the things I'd also want to highlight is our music program specifically, and it's been a source of great participation and pleasure and success. Guided by some very strong teachers who have created a program that's been lasting for years with state and national recognitions. And I'm going to go a little bit further here, because this program also shows this community connection and how these alternative courses of study provide a variety of ways to study a particular subject. So if you want to study music, at GSA, you can take classes which are offered, and that's rich and robust and engaging. But in addition to that, you can perform in several choices of bands or ensembles after school. And so that enriches and furthers their interest if that's your inclination. And there's also opportunities for independent study and finding a mentor to do that, and pursue further your studies in that regard, as well as there are opportunities for mentorship in the community to take advantage of the events and activities that are happening there. So it's a certain example of how the school's resources expand and include those of the town and community. So at some point, I would share with you some of the music that we do have here, but here, this is an example of our steel band on in the left, and then this is actually some dorm students learning how to play the steel band, the pans, and one of our dorm students is in the band that you, or the quartet. It looks like that is pictured here as well. And I'll go a little further with other aspects of the curriculum. I alluded to the independent study. This is one of the signature programs, and Tim, you feel free to jump in on this. I know this is one of Tim's favorites. He feels very strongly about the impact of this opportunity for students. And do you want to talk about it, John?
Sure.
Because it's I'll let you talk about it. Yeah.
So this program goes back to about 1970, I think. We've had it a long time, and every school, or nearly every school, has some opportunities for independent study, but George Stevens Academy makes a bigger commitment to this than any place that I've been or any place I've heard of, in that we, every single junior and senior does an independent study project, and they can be anything from something that might be considered kind of academic, like writing a play or a screenplay, to exploring it's an interest or hobby. We've had students build musical instruments, and somebody built a radio controlled jet a few years ago, to students exploring career interests, spending time in a doctor's office or a veterinary clinic, or in a law firm. And they can travel anywhere really in the world that they want. They have a mentor and advisor here on campus to help them, and they're connected with an expert wherever they're doing their project. So it's really, and they can take 2 weeks off from classes to do it. So it's a real commitment we make, and it's because we really believe that two things. One, you learn best when you're doing something that interests you, and two, we want to nurture in students their exploration of who they are and what they'd like to do. And there are many students through the years who will say that they found their career or their course of study through ISIP, and then there's others who'll say, I thought I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and then I spent time in a kindergarten and I realized maybe that's not for me, which is an equally valuable result. So that's a huge commitment we make to students pursuing their interests. And then on top of that, we do have what we call alternative courses, which is a course that a student has created and that they'll take for credit. And there too, they'll be working with one of our teachers. Sometimes they're doing that online for a class we don't offer here, and sometimes they're doing that really something they've created. A couple of years ago, I worked with 3 senior boys, and we did an alternative course on songwriting and music composition, because that's an interest of mine. So it's a major commitment we make in helping students explore the things that interest them, and I think it's a really wonderful program. And at the end, they have to make a public presentation about what they did, so there's a lot of skills that are going on as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. But I see over there, for example, there's also study Thai.
Yeah, that is an example of nice pickup, Jones. The alternative course that Tim alluded to is particularly helpful for students who want to learn a language which we don't offer in our regular curriculum. So we offer that in this case, a student wanted to learn Thai and
Wow.
and a course out of that. So that's again another way of expanding our offerings by taking advantage of whether it's online resources or local college or universities.
Wow.
Or our community.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
good.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, team. So you've got already I see you've got already sports, you've got already languages, fashion, music. So basically, it's just like High School Musical in the Hollywood level, but in Blue Hills.
Loving that.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
that. That's a great way to
Yeah,
it does
it's
have a nice
true.
vibe. We do have a
Yeah.
nice vibe. I love that you've been able to pick that up, Jones, and I'm really glad and grateful that somehow you've been able to pick that up. This is the curriculums in some of our classes are different than the traditional classes. Culinary arts, our culinary arts professionals like they love to share cuisines from around the world, taking advantage of our international student interests and really speaking to them in terms of how she creates menus for the whole school. So our whole school is used to eating creative and interesting foods because of her, and so just another way of the way that our school welcomes our students who come from further away. There's opportunities for outdoor leadership, ocean studies. Of course, there's going to be opportunities to study, and I think the girls here are studying. Looks like they're investigating a lobster there in one of their ocean studies courses. And Jones, you mentioned athletics. Yes, sports are important. We've got great success. It's a very vibrant program with 12 different sports offered. Sailing is something which you would expect us to have, and we're so fortunate that we do. We partner with Maine Maritime Academy, a local university, to provide that program. But baseball and basketball and soccer and volleyball, tennis, swimming, softball, indoor track, golf, and cross country. We've had some great recent successes in our basketball teams with state championships.
Wow.
And we cross country teams also just recently won state championships. So it's very exciting and obviously a lot of fun for all of us who are part of the community. And being a small school, we know each other so well. So those successes run deep. It's fun to see the pictures. And so, yes, we're alluding to some of the successes of the programs. And as I alluded to, my two children were fortunate enough to go here. And also my son was fortunate to be on one of the basketball teams that won 2 state championships in a row. And my son went on, as others have, to play. In his case, he played college baseball, I should say. But it's nice to see students, some who choose to do so, to move on at the next level. Tim alluded to our recent cross country championships, and this is one of our star runners and a delightful young woman, Thea Crowley, who is just a fantastic runner and a fantastic individual.
Wow.
So, and then a little bit of, oops, I'll go back to that. That's just a nice picture of two of our sailors on the rocky coast, as you can see there. And so I'm going to sum up this part of it, the school offerings by this statement, which one of our teachers, that our staff, our caring community, and the vast curriculum provides the support and flexibility to discover who you are and create who you will be. And I wanted to say that as a stepping stone to talking about our residential life program, because we are so excited to welcome students to join us and help them discover who they are going to be in this community. So I should have shown this first for me, because these are all students in our program with whom I have such affection and connection. And so I cannot speak more strongly how excited we are to have students come join us here, and for the parents and families to trust us in their care. We take that so seriously and so collaboratively. Like we have we love the relationships we have with our families, and stay connected. So I will talk more about the boarding program. We have currently have 15 students. They come from 8 different countries. They all live in this is Hinckley dorm, part of it. They all live together in that building. and they eat there and have, as I mentioned earlier, have a real family vibe. It's a family vibe that they have together. They have dorm parents who live in and a couple dorm parents who support the program with activities. And their activities that they do outside of school are taking advantage of what the community offers. And I'll tell you more about that. So. Again, the family feel, I'll go through some photographs of some of the activities and personalities that we have in our program. Yes,
Nice.
So I'll say here, celebrations are a big part of life. Being outside, in this case, they were harvesting apples. And this another picture here is from a Friendsgiving dinner where we included others in our community to join us. So, which says that our activities bring our students out into the community to connect them up. So we, as I mentioned earlier, that when the students come here, they're part of the school and they're part of the community. And one of my previous jobs here at George Stevens was to organize some of these activities, and it was such a it was nice to arrange for our students to do these things, including working at elderly care homes and working at the library, or working to do some cleanup and the beach cleanups and other things. And we'll go through some of the other activities just together. Students can enjoy the local national park, which is about 45 minutes away. It's Acadia National Park. If some of you may have heard that, it's one of the very popular destination, one of the national park, and one of the part of the national park system in the United States. But there's opportunities for hiking, for going to the beach, and biking. And as you can see here, and I think that on one of these pictures, it shows, of course, a lot of our students enjoy going shopping or going to the movies or going to bowling or doing other activities as well. So outdoor activities and some city activities as well. And I would share one of the things that we are very grateful for is that when our students are here, like the dorm is an alive place, and one of the pictures here shows that students are gathered, and it's not just dorm students. They're students who have come on Friday night to play games or Friday night to have potluck dinners. Another picture here is with Kang playing music at the residential facility for elderly folks in our community, and so I don't know if you can see in this picture, but he's playing music while there's some folks gathered in the living room. And another picture here is of 3 of our students, 2 from Ukraine, 1 from Afghanistan, among a circle of mostly folks from different churches in this community who have come to support their being here in the community. Another example. We were so grateful to that effort that this people fundraised to enable these boys to come. It was very special, and this picture kind of captures that encircling.
Yeah. I've got to say that not many institutions that have so many pictures of students like yours. Really, you've captured everything. I just don't know how.
Well, maybe it's my thank you, Jones. It might be that's my like, as I said, as a parent and as a person who was a dorm parent in my past here too, I just have that. Brings such joy. And then dorm parents are very intimately involved, and this was one of my pleasures of providing this. Really was, there's different dorm parent in each of these pictures, but it shows the connection that they have. And they share their passions, whatever they are, whether it's cold dipping. This is actually a winter swim over here. Whether it's cold, what's that? Oh yeah, you can't. Tim's telling that you can't tell what I'm pointing to. The upper right. So with sharing their passions, biking and outdoor activities, games, and cooking, surfing. Or just exploring, but the connection that individuals that our dorm parents and our teachers have is, as I mentioned earlier, it's the connection that we feel can change lives and impact lives. And I feel this picture captures, and for me, captures that really, really well. These bunch of pictures. just other photographs of certain activities that we do, like what do you do in Maine? What do you do in Blue Hill? What do you do? What do the students do there? And so swim, ski, in plays, cookouts, dinners, and there's also a picture here of hosting a Halloween for the community. So various pictures, and I had to put this picture in here for Bin, one of our students recently from Vietnam who loves winter, and people also ask why, what is there to do in Maine in the winter? And there is, for me, lots to do, as you can see here, including some swimming there. So a few comments of what the students are saying. This is the place I found myself and found my home. Blue Hill is a welcoming place. It's a unique place. And how do we bring students here? What's the process? So the application is a standard application online. Student essays, parent statements. It's something that can be pulled from our website to get access to that. One-time fee can be waived, so there's never a problem with that. If the families would rather, we're happy to do that too. And English TOEFL or is often required, especially for freshmen and sophomores, as we decide what language support they may need. And we can go more about this in questions and answers as well. The tuition and fees for 22, 23, and 23, 24 will be $48,000. Most of our families receive financial assistance, and we really feel that we want as many people to apply who may feel like this is the place for them, and we'll work hard to try to make that happen. As you can see, we value the diversity of our community of students and do as best we can to make it happen for the families and for their finances. And we rely on and depend on and enjoy working with all of you to make this happen, and appreciate all the work that consultants and agents do to help families find their way and find the right place for their children. And for us also on our end to find families who would enjoy being here and that would be the place for them to take their next step in education. And so we offer agent commissions, which we're outlining here in this form here, 17% for the family tuition for the first year and 10% for subsequent years until graduation. We would love it to have even more students. So if any of you had 4 students, we're offering 25% and then 10% on from there. And as I said, would love to work with you further and answer questions and such to help you, help the students, help the families make the choices and find their way here or to wherever they would like to be. This slide has just some of the details of the school. Tim Seeley, head of school, and Rebecca Gratz, our assistant and dean of curriculum, and Katie Reinhardt is our college counselor, which I haven't talked about, but we can answer those questions about how we provide services and supportive service for students who want to take the next step. So we love what boarding students bring to this community, what they bring to the school, what they bring the town. And it's a real pleasure to be here among all of you to share with you a bit about our community and about our school, and to invite you to join us in this. And thank you so much for being here today.
We take very seriously that it's a real honor when families trust us with their children, which is their most precious thing. And I think we really do a great job of taking care of them, so they have a wonderful experience while they're here, and they're ready for whatever is going to come next for them.
Does the Academy issue a visa support letter with unconditional offer so as to make visas easier? Yes, that's an easy answer. Yes, we are happy to do that. that's part of the process of acceptance is we have a person who works with our F1 and we're happy to do that and do that regularly.
Could you tell us more about the tuition fee? Not about the tuition fee itself, but I would love to hear more about the scholarship or some programs like that. So do you have any offer for students?
We understand that there are families for whom paying full tuition is possible, and there are families who would like to come and could be great matches for us, and that we could serve well for whom that is more than they can afford. So our process is to kind of work through the application and make sure that we're a good match, and then along the way come to agreement on what the fees will be. So there's not and we do that through a combination of information from the family. When we're working with agents, usually the agent is handling that part. Obviously it's in all our interests that the family pay as much as they can, but obviously not more than is reasonable. And so we, in the end, early in the season, it's hard to award a lot of financial assistance, but in the end, we always have a mix of families that are able to pay the full tuition and families that are paying somewhat less.
In agent cooperation policy, do you support agencies in exhibitions and marketing in regards to international recruitment events, either online or in person? So that's a great question. I'd love to have a conversation with you about making that happen.
We see this as a partnership from beginning to end to help find on the agent side families for whom we can be a good match. And on our side to provide all the information so that an agent can present us well and accurately. And then after a student has been enrolled, to continue to work with people to make sure that family and students experience is good, and then hopefully to have ongoing relationships.
We love visitors to Maine. Anybody traveling to this part of the world, we would love to host you.
Thank you so much, Bob and team. I really appreciate your effort as well. Let's stay in touch in the future.
We'd welcome you at any time.